What's up, everybody, man? It's your boy, Mr. Duga, coming at y'all with another video, man. And today, man, I'm gonna preview the Pac-12 conference. I'm gonna take a look back at them last year. Look at each team, take a look at them, what I think about them going into this year, and then make my Pac-12 predictions. Um, First off, man, before I even get into all that, I had to write notes down, honestly, because a lot of y'all teams, I know y'all a little bit, but I don't know you as well as I felt like I should. Because first off, y'all way over there, and quite honestly, y'all ain't been popping off nothing lately, man. Um, Last year the Pac-12 didn't even get a team in the college football playoff, man. I get it, the Big Ten didn't either, but the Pac-12 has been down the last few years, man. It's just really been down, man. It ain't, it's a long way away from those Pete Carroll USC days, where they shared a national championship with us, which that should be ours, by the way. And like the Chip Kelly Oregon days, man. Which Chip Kelly back out there, but it ain't the Oregon days, or he ain't with Oregon now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it been a little down last year, man. First off, man, last year I'm gonna look at the teams in the Pac-12 North. You had the Washington State Cougars under Mike Leach, who had a solid season, man. They went 11-2, man. Couple of nights when I know they had a tough loss at USC. They had some really really nice wins out there. Good, really good team, man. Had a veteran quarterback, a veteran team. Surprised a lot of people and had a really solid season, man. I want to say they went 11-2 last season. You also had the Oregon Ducks last year, who had a 9-4 record. Under their first year head coach after Willie Taggart left them to go to Florida State, and it ain't looking too great for Willie so far down there at Florida State, man. But Oregon, man, it's a good program, man. Obviously, with everything with Nike, with the freshest, I'll repeat, the freshest uniforms in all of college football. And I think the coolest mascot in all of college football with the Oregon Duck, man. So shout out to Oregon with that. They had a 9-4 season last year. The Washington Huskies, they finished off 10-4, but they won the Pac-12 last season, man, and got to the road. They got the brakes pretty much beat off them against a very, very talented Ohio State team last year in the Rose Bowl. But nevertheless, winning the Pac-12 championship game and having a great season last year. Big ups to Washington with that, as they've been kind of the most consistent program in the Pac-12 the last, few years, as there's the last team. I want to say, well, no, Oregon made it. I think the first year they did it, but there's the last team to actually, make a college football playoff, man. With their quarterback they had at Jake Brown, and he had a really great career over there with the Huskies. Shout out to them for that. The Stanford Cardinal, man, had a 9-4 season last year. David Shaw got a good thing going, man. I wish they would win a little more, to see, because I really like David Shaw a whole lot as a coach. He's coached a lot of great players, man. Stanford has a lot of really good players in the NFL right now, especially to say that they're such a high academic school, to still be able to put a consistent, decent football team out there together speaks volumes on the type of coach David Shaw is. The Cal Bears, man, they, not a great season, man. 7-6 last year. They're gonna try to get things turned around and going in the right direction this season. And then you had the Oregon State Beavers, who just really really struggled last season with a 2-10 record, man. That's not what's up. They're gonna have to do better than that. You look at the Pac-12 South. You had the Utah Utes, who won the Pac-12 South last season, but of course fell short to the Washington Huskies in the Pac-12 championship game. Whittingham got a good program, man. Utah is a good, solid program, man. They one of the under the radar programs. They haven't won necessarily big yet, But they're a good program when you think back to in the day with when Urban Meyer was there and they had Alex Smith, and then before they got into the Pac-12, I remember they beat up Alabama, a really really great Alabama team in the Sugar Bowl. Some people would say Alabama wasn't motivated because they lost to Florida in the SEC championship game and couldn't play Oklahoma in the championship. But nevertheless, man, Utah went out there and beat them. So I ain't trying to fully hear that. So that's a good program over there, man. Y'all Whittingham, keep doing what y'all doing, man. The Arizona Wildcats, man, with Kevin Sumlin, obviously a guy I'm very familiar with. He coached at Texas A&M in the SEC. They kind of struggled last season with a 5-7 record, man. Utah was 9-5, by the way, also. The Arizona State Sun Devils, man. Herm Edwards, man. Shout out to Big Herm Edwards. Went 7-6 in his first season. Not great, but to say it's his first year coaching in a very, very long time. I think they're gonna get it together. They got a big loss, man. They lost they top wide receiver N'Keal Harry, man. He was a first round draft pick of the New England Patriots. So they're gonna have to get that together. The Colorado Buffaloes, man, they kind of struggled a little bit last year with a 5-7 record. You know, the USC Trojans, man. Clay Helton is probably the hot seat is probably hotter than almost any coach in the country right now. Had a great Rose Bowl run with Sam Darnold when they beat who was it they beat? I think they came from behind and beat them, man. I can't remember who it was they beat in that Rose Bowl game. It was a really great Rose Bowl game too, man. I can't remember. It'll come to me, but I can't remember who they beat in that game, man. But they struggled with a 5-7 record. Then you had the UCLA Bruins with Chip Kelly, who struggled with a 3-9 record, man. Long way away from Josh Rosen. You feel me? Um, I mean, Chip Kelly, by me, obviously, I'm an Eagles fan. So I'm not going to sit there. I always bad on the man, but I ain't going to sit here and act like I'm holding pom poms up and really rooting for Chip Kelly neither. You feel me? But let's look at the teams this season, man. First, I'm gonna start off with the Oregon Ducks, man. Obviously, and their star player is Justin Herbert, yo. He could have left and went to the NFL last season, but decided to return. He's projected to be a top 10, maybe even a top 5 draft pick in the NFL draft next season, man. Very, very accurate thrower of the football. Oregon has a very, very wide open offense, man. I like this team a lot coming into this season, and they got a big time matchup. I want to say it's the start of the season. They play Auburn, which was obviously a rematch of the 2011 national championship game. But that's a big game to keep your eye on, man. Auburn is expected to have a really good defense, and Oregon obviously with Herbert could put up some points. So that's like a big key game for them this season that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, I like Oregon a little bit, man. Then you have the Washington Huskies, which with Chris Peterson, obviously he's done a great job over there coming over from Boise State. Already got this team into a college football playoff, got them in the Rose Bowl. They got Jacob Eason over there now, man, the former Georgia Bulldog quarterback who lost his job. He got injured and lost his job to Jake Fromm, but he has a huge arm, man. A huge arm, man. I think if he have a good season, you could see him possibly being, a maybe late first round draft pick as a quarterback. This guy could really sling that football, man. And Washington has some talent, man. They got especially defensively, they had a lot of guys come out of that program. You got guys like Sidney Jones, Kevin King, Marcus Peters, is it Vita Vale? They had really, really talented guys, Buda Baker, real talent come out of that program, man, defensively. But yeah, and they also got Big Trey Adams, man, who's a giant of an offensive lineman, 6'8", 327. Good luck getting around him. You feel me? The Stanford Cardinal, man. Obviously, I like David Shaw a lot as a head coach. They coming in with their quarterback Costello. You know, had a really good season last year. You know, probably the most valuable player, obviously, on that team. But then you look again, they got another really good offensive lineman in Walter Little, who was first team All Pac-12 last season. One thing about David Shaw, man, this team is gonna have grit. This team is gonna play hard, and they're gonna be physical. Stanford is gonna be a physical team, man. So you gotta watch out for that. The Cal Bears, man. You know they got Evan Weaver, a linebacker who was a defensive intern in the linebacker. So obviously he got a lot of speed, playing there. But I don't know if I really expect too much out of Cal this season, though. To be honest with you, the Oregon State Beavers, man. They got their running back Jamar Jefferson, who had almost 1,400 yards rushing last year, which was one of the only bright spots in such a terrible team they had. So I ain't much really expected out of them this season. The Utah Utes, man, a team I really like this year, man. Winningham, they kept knocking on the door in the Pac-12. They got a chance to finally knock it down. They got a lot of talent coming back on this team, man. Led by their defensive end, Bradley Annie, I want to say his name is. But what jumped off for me with him is he had 17 sacks. 17 sacks, man. That's a lot. So, Utah got a really experienced team coming back, man. I look for big things out of them. The Arizona Wildcats, man. Kevin Sumlin, his second year over there. One thing about him, his team is gonna put up points, but his defense is not gonna stop nobody. And that was a continuing trend with Arizona last season. Khalil Tate gotta stay healthy. He's an explosive player, an explosive dual threat quarterback. He gotta stay healthy. If he stay healthy out there, one thing we know, they could put up points. Now I'm not sure if they could stop nobody though. Which, like I said, that was the same way Kevin Sumlin team was at Texas A&M. You look at the Arizona State Sun Devils, man. They got running back Eno Benjamin coming back, who had well over 1,600 yards rushing. And you could expect maybe even a bigger role for him this season with N'Keal Harry, on to the NFL. I like Herm Edwards a lot as a head coach, man. So, I kind of personally want him to have some success over there with the Sun Devils. Was kind of surprised when he took that job, but I guess he wanted kind of a more of a lower profile type of job or something on the West Coast. So shout out to Herm Edwards for that. The Colorado Buffaloes, man, who got Levinsky Charnett, man. This is a very, very talented wide receiver. You know, very explosive, extremely explosive. He led the nation in what catches per game, yo. Very explosive, gets open, great after the catch. I seen some highlights of him. He pretty explosive, man. He could be one of the most exciting players in all, not just in the Pac-12, but in all of college football this season. So keep a watch out for him, man. You look at the Washington State Cougars, man. They got Max Barhee, but that team lost a lot from last year, man. Great, great season for them last season. But, a lot of those guys, especially their quarterback, a lot of those guys are gone, man, for Mike Leach's team. But, he's a good coach, a good motivator. So maybe they'll surprise me and a lot of people. We'll see. USC, man. They got the talented defensive tackle, Jay Tufili, I want to say his name is, man. Clay Clay Helton is on the hot sheet, man. I mean, he saved his Sam Darnold basically saved his job, man. Let's just call it what it is. And he been struggling, man. There's already whispers and rumors out there that, Urban Meyer could possibly look into this job next year because we all know that Urban Meyer ain't gonna stay retired for long. Like, maybe he is, but we all feel like at some point he gonna come back into coaching and get a really great high profile job and then kind of turn that program around. So a lot of people are already linking him to the USC job, which I don't feel too bad for USC for a couple of reasons. For one, y'all sharing our national championship. from '03, which is ours. We played in the B-Shares championship game, beat Oklahoma. And another thing, which I thank y'all for, y'all should have gave Coach Ed Orgeron that job, man. He did a great job motivating that team, running that program, getting that program to winning, and they went on and gave Clay Helton the job. So I mean, it is what it is. You feel me? Then, as speaking of not feeling sorry for someone, the UCLA Bruins, they returned back a talented running back in Joshua Kelly. But other than that, that team is a mess right now. I mean, Chip Kelly he came to the Eagles, bought an innovative offense. Then after that, just started messing with personnel. Then got kicked out, went to the 49ers, got kicked out. Was the hottest coaching commodity out there. Everybody wanted him, especially the Florida Gators. And he decided to go to UCLA. And it's just year one, but it ain't looking pretty for him so far up there, man. I mean, he had a great situation in Oregon. And, he brought that Oregon Ducks program to life, with guys like Darian Thomas and Marcus Mariota and Jeremiah Masoli, and LeGarrette Blunt and those guys. LaMichael James. They had some really good Kenyon Barner, DeAnthony Tom. There's some really good teams at Oregon. So maybe eventually he could bring that type of spiciness to UCLA, but it ain't looking good for him so far. Which leads to my predictions for the Pac-12 this season. First, I'm gonna start off with the Pac-12 North, man. I like Justin Herbert and the Oregon Ducks winning the Pac-12 North this season. Obviously, he one of the hot quarterbacks in college football. First round draft pick, could have been a first round draft pick last year. They got a tough one with Auburn, but it's non-conference, of course. And I just like their offense, man. I think Oregon is on the way back to getting better as a program. But I think this year with Herbert, one of the best quarterbacks, they're going to score a lot of points this season. I like them winning the Pac-12 North. I got the Washington Huskies finishing second. I like Jacob Eason a lot. He was really good at Georgia. The problem is they didn't start becoming really good as a team till once Jake Fromm got in there. But he's extremely talented. And Chris Peterson, I like him a lot. He's a really good coach, man. And Washington is a low-key, nice pipeline for some NFL talent, man. I got them finishing right behind Oregon in the North. I got the Stanford Cardinal finishing third, but you know what, David Shaw, this team can win the North. But I like Oregon and Washington's talent. Particularly, I like Herbert and Eason a little better than Costello, but I like Stanford to finish third in the Pac-12 North. I got the Cal Bears finishing fourth. I don't expect much out of them. I got the Oregon State Beavers finishing fifth, and I got the Washington State Cougars finishing last. I know they was up there last year, but they lost a lot, so I got them last this year. And in the South, I got the Utah Utes winning the Pac-12 South again. It's a very deep, talented team, man. I like their chances out of the South. I got Arizona coming in second, man. I think Khalil Tate gonna be healthy. I know their defense is sorry, but I think that Khalil Tate is gonna score that much points for them that I think they'll be second. I like the fighting Herm Edwards, Arizona State Sun Devils, to finish third with their really good running game. And Herm gonna bring a little juice to the defense, but I got them falling right under Utah, man, and Arizona. So I got them finishing third. I got the Colorado Buffaloes finishing fourth. They got probably the most explosive player in the whole conference, besides Khalil Tate. But, I don't think too much of the rest of their team. So I got them finishing fourth. I got the USC Trojans finishing fifth, man, which might end up being Clay Helton's last year at USC. And I got the UCLA Bruins finishing last, man. I don't got much for that team neither. Pac-12 championship game, I got the Oregon Ducks taking on the Utah Utes in the Pac-12 championship game. And I got the Utah Utes beating the Oregon Ducks in that game because I think Utah's defense is going to be really good this season. And I think they're going to give Herbert and that offense a little bit of problems. And Utah going to win I got the Utah Utes winning the Pac-12 this season. But with that being said, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. Go on, give me a subscribe, man. I'm going to have NCAA content, man, throughout the year. Y'all have a blessed one. Go Tigers. Good luck everybody in the Pac-12 this year.